precisely what you said, but that we were going to be merging into another galaxy, if you will, and also that we needed to raise our vibrations in order to survive what's coming. Do you lend any credence to that?
Certainly, especially at the level of actual energy. If the Russians are correct in their supposition that we will become captured by the Milky Way, then we can also assume that they're correct in their assumptions, and there's, again, evidence to support it, that there's more energy pouring out in the thin rim of the Milky Way galaxy than there is from, say, the North or South Pole. And that the galaxy is spinning, and so it has this angular momentum and centrifugal force, if you will, that has a tendency to concentrate energy in this thin plate-like, if you will, 20-year wide plate, because it used to take our solar system 20 years to cross the plate and come out of it. And at this point, we're going to be captured at the point of the highest level of intensity of radiation of all different kinds. Should be maybe extra light, and who knows? We just don't know all the different kinds of energies that are likely to affect us. But we will thereafter become part of the Milky Way galaxy. And so it makes a lot of sense that since matter does not exist, and it's just an issue of the vibratory frequencies of energy all colliding with each other to make us think that matter exists, then that premise has a whole lot of, not evidence, but a whole lot of theoretical underpinning to give it some credence, that vibration will indeed be an issue. And so the whole idea of vibratory frequency, your atoms and everything may change. Now, I remember reading in, I want to say 92 or 93, I happened to be given a copy of a report that had been prepared by the RAND Corporation in the nature of doing this consulting contract. I wasn't working for the government, but I was a subcontractor that had to report to a government agency, and I was given this to provide some background stuff. And there was one little part in that RAND report that caught my attention, where this fellow was suggesting that as of 2012 onward, we may actually get to the point where the ESR, or the electron spin resonance, changed. And his supposition as to why it changed was immaterial. He didn't say why it was going to occur. He just said that, referencing these other documents in government speak, blah, 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 this might occur in 2012 and onward, and then it would have disastrous consequences, because basically he was looking at the world as a materialist, little rocks in the form of atoms whizzing around to form molecules and so on, and the whiz rate of those atoms would change. And so it would cause problems, everything from cognitive dissonance and the inability to think to actually, who knows, maybe every tree on the planet would suddenly explode into flames because the vibrations would be so intense that the wood material, the cellulose, would erupt into flames. It was just impossible to speculate what would happen if the electron spin resonance changed. But he knew it wouldn't be good for ordinary thinking. And in that particular level of that contract I was dealing with, they were suggesting it wouldn't be good for computers, which is true, because we count on electrons to behave a certain way within computer chips.
So what happens then?
I said the fact that they were thinking about it in 1992, and that someone paid the RAND Corporation to write a 300-plus page report, of which about 30 pages were devoted to the subject, gives one pause. And I think that the powers that be are very concerned about this because there's so much in the way of unknowns. It might be, for instance, that everybody suddenly becomes a super enlightened and a Superman or a super person, right? X-ray eyes, flying around, all that kind of stuff. Highly unlikely.
Highly unlikely.
Highly unlikely. At the far end of the fear of the powers that be, that we become very enlightened. And curiously, if you go into YouTube and look under Zbigniew Brzezinski, you can see a couple of statements he's made recently that have been captured on YouTube, where he says exactly in bespoke terms that we, meaning the powers that be, are very afraid of a global and sudden political mindset awakening. Now, what would they be afraid of that might cause that mindset awakening?
Are they afraid of something? Is there fear?
Overwhelmed by it.
Do not leave the witness.
They're afraid it'll occur this year.
Are you implying DNA upgrade because of these changes?
Yes, that is definitely an implication. How much evidence there is to suggest that will occur is anybody's guess. Wild speculation at best, or an informed guess at best, and wild speculation at worst. There's just no way to know. It's an unknowable. So I don't really spend much time thinking about it, and if it occurs, I'll deal with it then. And basically my approach is, can't hurt to eat an extra slice of blueberry pie.
Right, exactly. And I have a few questions left before I let you go, Cliff. This one comes from Greece. Cliff, is there any connection between the Scientology and the secret government? Is Scientology the philosophical background of the black world?
I would say that there's certainly a connection. I can't answer if it's an
Scientology is bad, okay?